riders fell off the horse. One got back on, one was anxious for weeks. What made the difference wasn't mindset and it wasn't age. Michelle and Gina were riding down a trail when a rabbit jumped out of the bush. Gina's horse bolted and Michelle's horse followed. They both fell off, but only one of them rode again the next day. Why? That's what we're here to find out today. To answer that question, we need to look deeper. How the body perceived that fall, and how trauma affects riders so differently. So in this video, I want to share how your past, your nervous system, and your environment all shape how you experience a fall or a scary ride. Why your age has got nothing to do with your confidence, and the real reason your nervous system responded the way it did. You see, trauma isn't just what happened. It's what happened inside of you when something felt too much, too fast, or too soon, and you didn't have enough support, safety, or choice. I'll give you an example. I worked with a lady who fell off a horse and was anxious to ride. And when we explored deeper, she mentioned that she felt embarrassed on the ground. This embarrassment has been with her for the last 40 years, since her parents got a divorce when she was a teenager. She was the only kid in her class back then who went through this. Every time she went to ride and pushed herself to get on, she became tense. The emotion would completely overwhelm her. Once we worked on those feelings and brought closure to it, her inner child felt safer and her body felt lighter. What does trauma look like for you? Is it a big dramatic event like falling off your horse, getting rushed away in an ambulance, ending up in the hospital with broken ribs? Or trauma is seemingly unimportant events? Both answers are correct. You see, you might be surprised to know that more often than not, the small events might imprint on you more than you think. Take Sarah, for example. She was so nervous to ride after she fell off her horse last year. During her session, she realized she has been feeling anxious for quite some time. You see, her teacher at primary school was very strict, and one day during a math class, Sarah didn't know the answer. The teacher was furious, made Sarah feel small, stupid, doubted her ability to succeed. And until today, Sarah is not a fan of math. Shocking, right? Sarah didn't realize how this supposedly small event had a major impact on her confidence. These moments shape us, even the quiet ones, like the time you were scared but felt like you had to pretend everything was fine, like Sarah did. Or the times you knew you were struggling but didn't feel like you were allowed to say it out loud. Maybe you were told to just get back on, even though every part of your body was saying, no, not yet, I'm not ready. Or maybe it goes back even further to your childhood, where expressing your feelings wasn't safe, where no one asked how you were really doing, where being strong meant staying quiet. These aren't just memories and they don't just disappear. They live in your body. They shape how you respond when something scary happens now. And I'd like you to think of your nervous system like a cup. Every difficult experience, every unsupportive moment, every time you push through without help, it's like another drop in that cup. And when the cup gets full, one more fall or even a small trigger can make it overflow. That's when your body might feel tense, anxious, because it doesn't feel safe. If we go back to Michelle and Gina, they both experienced the same fall, but their cups weren't equally full. Michelle may have already been carrying a heavy emotional load before it even happened. For her, the fall was the drop that tipped the whole thing over. But Gina's cup wasn't full, so she was able to recover, move on, and keep on riding. It's not about who's a better rider, it's about what each rider's nervous system was already holding before the fall. Another big factor of why one rider is anxious to ride again, while the other seems to be okay, is what I call the rider's interpretation. Michelle and Gina fell off, but they might walk away telling themselves very different stories. Gina might have said, "Oh, that was annoying, I need to sit up next time." She interpreted that as, "I made a mistake, I can fix it," which means the fall is less likely to be traumatic for her. And Michelle might have said, "I'm not safe, I can't trust myself, I shouldn't be riding." Her interpretation was, "I'm not capable, I'm in danger," then her body will stay on guard. This interpretation is rarely just about horses. It often comes from earlier experiences, where you may have felt not good enough, not believed, shame for making a mistake, blame for things that weren't your fault, unsupported when you were scared. So when Michelle fell off, her body wasn't just processing that moment, it's bringing back all the similar moments from her past where she felt unsafe. The fall lit up old beliefs that were already there, quietly running in the background. Another important piece of this puzzle is what happened after the fall. Trauma is shaped not just by what happened, but by what happened next. Was Michelle comforted? Was she allowed to cry after the fall? Was Gina felt her body shaking and allowed it? Or did she had to hide and have a brave face? Did any of them feel ashamed? Or was blame for what happened? Depending on the answers for these questions, the body might decide that yes, that was scary, but I can recover and move on tomorrow, or I'll never ride again. This is dangerous. I'm not a good rider. When we are experiencing a vulnerable moment like falling off the horse, we try to make sense of what happened and why. And during that process, old beliefs might come up. Let me know in the comments below if you resonate with any of these beliefs. Get back on, or you'll never ride again. You're fine, stop being dramatic. You're making a big deal out of nothing, and don't let the horse win. Sounds familiar? And that can definitely shape the way you feel about the incident, about your horse, and about yourself. Sometimes these beliefs are more traumatic than the fall itself. Another rider I worked with fell off her horse and convinced herself she was too old to bounce back. She wanted to ride so badly that she kept pushing herself to get back on, but all it did was leave her anxious and tense. When we looked deeper, we found out that her parents were never supportive of her riding horses. They doubted and questioned her ability. So when time came for her to ride again, this self-doubt kicked in and she couldn't shake it off. Once we worked on her self-doubt, she managed to see a whole different reality in front of her. It wasn't about the fall, it was about old stories coming back to the present moment. One of the hardest parts of trauma is that it can quietly change the way you see the world. If Michelle wasn't supported after the fall, she might feel her horse is unpredictable now, or even a dangerous horse. She might find herself avoiding that trail because it is unsafe. Or even worse, she would start to believe she's not a capable rider and she's not trusting herself anymore. Remember Sarah from before? She fell off in the arena. It's been more than a year and she hasn't ridden in that arena. She claimed that space is dangerous. She manages her nervous system quite well now when she's out and about on the trail, and we started to work on her feeling safer in the arena. When your body feels unsafe, your brain begins scanning for anything that could go wrong. Every little flinch, rustle, or small mistake might signal to your body there is a potential threat and I shouldn't be riding at all. Even if all your horse does is just breathing deep and swishing his tail at a fly. But your body doesn't know that. Your body sees that as danger, a threat. We're not safe. A lot of riders get frustrated with that because they logically know that their horse is just looking at the birds, but the body reacts like we're about to fall off again. That's the tricky thing about trauma. Your nervous system isn't reacting to what's happening now, it's reacting to everything that ever happened before. It's trying to protect you, but it's using all data, not your current reality. What we want to achieve here is helping your body update that message from I'm not safe to I'm here, I'm supported, I have tools, and I can go at my own pace without pushing through. We want to teach your nervous system that things have changed, that it's safe to feel safe again. Let's talk about the age factor, okay? Do you tell yourself I'm older now, maybe that's why I can't bounce back the way I used to? If that's you, comment below and I'd love to hear from you. And sure, age can play a role. We get more aware of risks. We are more cautious. We got more on our plates like work, family, responsibility, a whole life to manage. And I get that. It makes sense that a fall might feel heavier now than it would have years ago. I work with a woman in her mid-60s who is training a young horse. She has the skill, she knows she's capable, but every time she went to work with him, her body tensed up. Her shoulders were tight and anxiety would just flood in, even though nothing had gone wrong. So during a session, we explored that tension, and what we uncovered was powerful. Beneath that tightness in her shoulders was unprocessed anger, anger she had carried since childhood. She grew up with a narcissistic mother who didn't give her the care or emotional safety she needed, and an older brother who got her into trouble she wasn't prepared to handle. Back then, she didn't have the tools to process what was happening, so her body held it for her. Once we gave those emotions space, once her inner child felt seen and safe, something shifted. Her shoulder relaxed. Her whole body softened. She even said the pain in that shoulder, the pain she'd had for years, started to feel lighter. She never even considered that it might be emotional pain. Her tension wasn't because she was too old to handle a young horse. It was her past saying, I've held this long enough, it's time to be seen. It doesn't matter how old you are, it's about what your nervous system has been through and whether it feels safe now. So now that you have a better understanding, I hope you can let go of the shame and see that you are not weak or just getting older, and you are still a brave rider. It's just your body saying, this is too much, I'm overwhelmed, I need safety before I can move forward. In my next video, I'll guide you through 3 simple ways to start bringing safety back into your body. So go ahead and watch that now, and I'll see you on the other side.